But we are going to begin this hour with potential problems for farmers as a result of President Trump's trade wars.
China says it would impose tariffs of 15% on imports of coal and liquefied natural gas from the United States.
A renewed trade war between the US and China has erupted, with Beijing responding aggressively to the Trump administration's latest wave of tariffs. The dispute, which started with a 10% tariff on Chinese imports and later escalated to 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico, has sent shockwaves through global market.
China now saying that they will look to impose tariffs on some US goods as well.
Beijing has made it clear that while it prefers diplomatic solutions, it will not hesitate to defend its economic interests through strong countermeasures. One of China's most significant moves includes placing tariffs on US agricultural goods such as soybeans, corn, and dairy products. These countermeasures directly impact American farmers, particularly those in Midwestern states who form a key part of Trump's political base. Additionally, China has blacklisted multiple US companies, restricting their ability to trade within its borders without special authorization.
The Chinese are ratcheting up the pressure. The Ministry of Economic Affairs says Beijing will soon publish a blacklist of U.S. companies that will no longer be allowed to do business with China.
China has also imposed a 15% tariff on U.S. imports, specifically targeting American poultry, wheat, and cotton. These tariffs are part of a broader strategy to weaken the U.S. agricultural sector, which has been historically vulnerable to export restrictions. Beijing has also indicated that it could further limit exports of rare earth minerals, which are essential to the U.S. tech and defense industries. As the economic tensions rise, stay informed by subscribing to our channel and turning on notifications. Your engagement helps us bring you the latest updates on global trade dynamics. Adding to the tensions, Beijing has restricted purchases from major American firms, including those in the semiconductor and aviation industries. China has hinted that it may divert its purchases from Boeing to Airbus, further straining U.S. manufacturers and reducing American influence in the global aviation market. Meanwhile, China has expanded its restrictions beyond agriculture, with potential limitations on high-tech industries, including semiconductor production and artificial intelligence research. These sectors are critical for the U.S. economy, and any disruption could have long-term consequences for America's position as a global leader in technology. In addition to trade restrictions, the Chinese government has taken a firm stance on fentanyl regulations, responding to Trump's accusations that Beijing is fueling the opioid crisis.
Virginia's Attorney General says the Commonwealth has received more than $100 million in the latest round of opioid settlements payments.
In return, China has implemented strict countermeasures, barring several American biotech firms from operating within its borders. China is also imposing new restrictions on critical raw materials essential for American industries, a move that could further disrupt supply chains. The growing conflict is not just limited to China. Canada has also introduced retaliatory tariffs, exacerbating the strain on U.S. trade relations.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau spoke hours after U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs against Canada and Mexico came into effect. Trudeau said Canada is retaliating and immediately imposing 25% tariffs on $20 billion worth of U.S. imports.
With Canada and China simultaneously pressuring the U.S., economic analysts warn that the U.S. could face significant disruptions in multiple key industries, from energy to agriculture and technology. The combined economic pressure from both China and Canada could have serious consequences for American businesses, particularly those reliant on exports. Analysts believe that the Trump administration may have underestimated the potential backlash from multiple nations imposing retaliatory tariffs simultaneously. With so much at stake, what do you think the outcome of this trade war will be? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's discuss the global impact together. Amidst the economic standoff, the Trump administration has signaled that it will not back down, insisting that China must first change its trade practices before any negotiations can resume. This hardline stance has only fueled further retaliation from Beijing, leading to growing concerns that the conflict could spiral into a prolonged trade war. The impact on global markets has been profound, with increased volatility in stock markets as investors become wary of potential economic slowdowns.
You know, the Dow had one of its worst days in months, and the NASDAQ had its biggest tumble since 2020, and that really shocks people. And so there's a level of fear in the market that there might not be this sort of what they were calling a Trump put. If there is enough carnage in markets, he might back off. It seems to be the sense is that the administration wants to go forward with tariffs, go forward with their policy, and investors in the stock market, in the bond market, you're kind of on your own to weather this storm.
China's response has also included a push to strengthen trade ties with the European Union and other Asian economies. By diversifying its trade partnerships, Beijing aims to reduce its reliance on the US market, making future American tariffs less impactful. If China strengthens trade agreements with the European Union, Japan, and Southeast Asian countries, it could counterbalance the economic impact of US tariffs and minimize its dependence on American trade. This strategy may weaken US leverage in future trade negotiations. As the trade war intensifies, the consequences are becoming more apparent.
Are the stakes for you?
It's tough because within agriculture, we essentially get one chance a year to raise a crop and market that crop and sell that crop. Not like we're a factory where we're constantly putting out widgets every day and we can make a change and the widget's going to come out cheaper or different the next day. So we're forced to be a lot more forward thinking, just the nature of our business.
American farmers are already experiencing economic hardships, with many struggling to find alternative markets for their products. The US technology sector is also feeling the effects as restrictions on semiconductor exports threaten supply chains. If the conflict continues, more industries could suffer, leading to rising costs for American consumers and disruptions to manufacturing operations that rely on Chinese components. Another critical factor in this trade war is China's strategy of targeting Trump's core voter base. Chinese officials have stated that their tariffs on US agricultural products are a direct message to American farmers, particularly those in swing states that played a crucial role in Trump's election victories. By crippling agricultural exports, China aims to weaken Trump's political standing ahead of the next election cycle. Beijing is using economic pressure as a form of political leverage, hoping to influence US domestic policies through its targeted trade restrictions. Diplomatic tensions between the two superpowers have also escalated. Beijing has accused Washington of using economic policies as a tool for geopolitical dominance, while the US argues that China's trade practices are unfair and damaging to global markets. This growing divide has led to a cooling of diplomatic relations, raising concerns about the possibility of broader geopolitical conflicts. Additionally, China's alignment with other economic powers could reshape global trade networks, shifting economic influence away from the US. Despite mounting tensions, behind-the-scenes negotiations between US and Chinese officials are ongoing. While both sides publicly maintain a hardline stance, there is speculation that diplomatic efforts may eventually lead to a resolution. However, with neither side willing to make concessions, the trade war is expected to have long-term implications for global trade. Economic experts warn that continued escalation could lead to a slowdown in global economic growth, increased inflation, and disruptions to supply chains across multiple industries. If this trade war continues, the global economic landscape could shift dramatically. Businesses will have to adapt to new trade policies, consumers may face rising prices, and economic alliances may be restructured.
China's tariffs on the US have come into effect today, adding a levy on many US farm products. The tariffs of 10 to 15% will affect items such as beef, poultry, and grains. China is also halting soybean imports from 3 US companies and stopping purchases of US wood.
American companies could lose market access in China, while Beijing strengthens trade ties elsewhere. The coming months will be crucial in determining whether these tensions escalate further or if a resolution can be found. Make sure to stay updated on these developments by subscribing and enabling notifications. Your support allows us to bring you in-depth coverage on the biggest global economic shifts. What remains clear is that the stakes are higher than ever, with both nations unwilling to back down. Whether through diplomacy or continued economic retaliation, the outcome of this trade war will have lasting effects on the global economy for years to come. With both sides playing hardball, the world watches as the US and China engage in one of the most intense economic confrontations in modern history.